before the first stone of the Great Pyramid touched the sands of Giza, Africa was already building wonders that defied time. Deep in the heart of the Sahara beneath the scorching wind and shifting dunes lies a forgotten past, one not written in papyrus or carved into temple walls, but etched into the very bones of the earth. A past so old, so advanced, it threatens to rewrite everything we think we know about early civilization. This is not a tale of pharaohs or gods, but of engineers, astronomers, and architects who walked the continent thousands of years before Egypt raised its first obelisk. Let us begin in a place you've likely never heard of, Nabta Playa. Roughly 700 miles south of modern Cairo, near the southern edge of Egypt's western desert, lies a desolate basin that was once a thriving lake. Today, it's just barren sand. But over 7,000 years ago, before the first pyramid stone was laid, this region was home to a sophisticated and little understood people. Long before the Nile Valley rose to prominence, they were already reading the stars. Archaeologists were stunned when they discovered what appeared to be an ancient stone circle there, a megalithic calendar. Constructed sometime around 5000 BCE, this prehistoric observatory is over 1,000 years older than Stonehenge and nearly 2,000 years older than the pyramids of Giza. The stones are precisely aligned to track the summer solstice and possibly predict rainfall, guiding early pastoral communities through cycles of migration, grazing, and survival. But who built Nabta Playa? These weren't Egyptian dynasties or Mesopotamian scribes. These were prehistoric African cattle herders, nomads of the desert, who somehow mapped the sky with mathematical precision long before formal mathematics existed. According to Dr. Fred Wendorf and Dr. J. McKim Malvaletwo, of the lead researchers behind the Nabta excavations, these ancient people had not only aligned their stones astronomically, but they had also developed ceremonial structures and underground water systems that suggest long-term settlement planning. Their work, published in Nature and Scientific American, points to a society that wasn't merely surviving in the desert, but thriving. And this isn't the only anomaly. Travel west to Mali and enter the land of the Dogon people. Here, in the Bandiagra escarpment, cliffside dwellings cling to ancient rock like whispers of time. The Dogon are a people whose knowledge has puzzled researchers for generations. According to anthropologists like Marcel Grialou, studied the Dogon for decades in the mid-20th century, they possessed detailed astronomical knowledge of Sirius B, a white dwarf star invisible to the naked eye, and unknown to the Western world until it was observed with a telescope in 1862. How did an isolated African tribe know that Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, had an invisible twin? And not just that it rotates on its axis, has a 50-year orbit, and is made of a material heavier than iron? The Dogon described these traits accurately, despite no known access to optical instruments. Some argue this knowledge was passed down through oral traditions for centuries, perhaps remnants of an even older civilization now lost to time. Others suggest outside contact. Yet the Dogon insist their ancestors received the knowledge directly from the Namo, amphibious beings who came from the stars. Myth or metaphor, the mystery remains. From the edge of myth, we return to stone. In Zimbabwe, high atop a granite hill, lie the ruins of Great Zimbabwean architectural marvel built between the 11th and 15th centuries. But its roots reach far deeper. The city is made of massive granite blocks, some weighing over 1,000 kilograms, stacked without mortar. Its famous elliptical wall stretches over 800 feet in circumference and rises 36 feet high. No cement, no binding agents, yet it stood for nearly a millennium. When Europeans first encountered these ruins, they refused to believe that black Africans could have built them. Early colonial writers absurdly credited it to the Phoenicians, Arabs, or even the Queen of Sheba. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that historians and archaeologists such as Peter Garlake and David Randall McIver shattered this narrative. Through carbon dating and indigenous oral history, they proved definitively. Great Zimbabwe was the work of the Shona people, African rulers and stonemasons who commanded trade networks stretching across the Indian Ocean. Iron smelting furnaces have also been found nearby, indicating sophisticated metallurgical techniques. Indeed, sub-Saharan Africa was independently producing iron as early as 10 BCE, particularly in regions like Nigeria and Tanzania, predating European ironwork in many cases. Speaking of Nigeria, we must mention the Nok civilization, a society that flourished in central Nigeria from around 10 BCE to 300 CE. The Nok left behind terracotta sculptures of such elegance and realism that when they were first uncovered in the 1920s, many experts assumed they were influenced by classical Greek art. But these sculptures predate most Greek statues by several centuries. Even more astonishing is that the Nok were also among the earliest ironworkers in sub-Saharan Africa. Their furnaces reached temperatures of 200 degrees Celsius, capable of smelting iron ore into weapons and tools. And they did this while many parts of Europe were still in the Bronze Age. There is a pattern here, one that mainstream history has long overlooked. Africa was not a continent waiting to be discovered. It was a cradle of innovation, a land of engineers, philosophers, astronomers, and artists. Civilizations like Kerma in Nubia, whose city walls predate Egypt's first dynasty. The Axumites of Ethiopia, who carved monolithic obelisks from single stones weighing over 500 tons, some of which still stand today. And the Benin Kingdom, whose city layout and wall systems, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, formed one of the largest man-made earthworks in history. And yet, despite the evidence, many of these feats remain excluded from schoolbooks, museums, and popular historical narratives. Why? The truth is, history has often been written by those with the loudest pens, not necessarily the clearest facts. But these technologies, the megalithic alignments, the iron furnaces, the mathematical architecture, the astronomical insight, none of them are accidents. They point to a legacy of intelligence, adaptation, and brilliance that has been buried beneath centuries of colonial distortion and scholarly neglect. And just when you think you've reached the edge of what we know, a discovery changes everything. In 2021, archaeologists uncovered new stone structures in the central Sahara near Tassili Najer in modern-day Algeria that resemble proto-observatories, potentially older than Nabta Playa itself. These structures suggest a network of ancient desert cultures, with shared knowledge of astronomy and engineering, stretching across thousands of miles and millennia of time. So we must ask, how much have we yet to uncover? What technologies have eroded beneath the desert sun, washed away by monsoons, or buried beneath layers of colonized history? And what if the greatest marvels of ancient Africa have yet to be found? The secrets of this continent, its deep, ancient wisdom, are not lost. They're simply waiting, in the dust, in the stars, in the stones we've yet to understand. If you're as intrigued as we are, if you believe history is more than what we've been told, then subscribe to History Off the Map. Drop a comment below. Which ancient African invention shocked you the most? And don't forget to like this video, so more forgotten stories can rise from the silence. Until next time, keep questioning the map, because history doesn't end where the textbooks do.